Hello there guys and welcome to Sunday's live stream here for IFMC. I am JWF1 and we're going to kick things off with race 2 for IFMC GP3 here at Donington Park. 15 laps of action coming your way. Hopefully it should be a good race. If you did see what happened in race 1 yesterday, not the most exciting races and it was rigged with technical problems, but in the end Ferdinand Habsburg went on to take his first GP3 victory in the Auto Jamaica car ahead of Robert Kubica, who finished second, and Josef Newgarden in third. As a result, it put Habsburg back in the lead in the Drivers' Championship. 4 points now ahead of nearest rival Josef Newgarden, and Robert Kubica touching distance behind as well. Well, for this race, of course, the top 8 is reversed, and it leaves Alexander Rossi to start on pole position in the Willows Racing car. And so far, last weekend in Spain, he's not had quite a good start to the championship. A lot of bad luck has come his way, but he's hoping to turn that around this weekend as he starts on pole position. But whether he'll keep that and win this race, who knows. So, before we start then, let's mute this, turn this up a little, and let's have a look at the grid for race 2 here at Donington. Here we go then, so on pole position, it's Alexander Rossi with Willpower in second. Santino Ferrucci lines up in third with Jack Aitken in fourth. Daniil Kvyat will line up in fifth, alongside him is Josef Newgarden in sixth. Robert Kubica starts seventh, alongside him is yesterday's winner Ferdinand Habsburg in eighth. Jarno Trulli starts in ninth, the man who's replacing Sebastian Buemi for this weekend. Felipe Nasr starts in 10th. Jenson Button starts 11th with Michael Elation in 12th position. Carl Kaiser lines up 13th with Antoine Hubert in 14th position. Eero Vainio starts 15th with Lucas de Grassi in 16th position. 17th is Nick Heidfeld. 18th is Anthony Davidson in the Shadow Racing car. In 19th is Marco Andretti. 20th is Antonio Fuoco. And on the back row of the grid, it's Nico Kari and Daniil. So there is the grid then, guys, for race 2 here at Donington. And the weather, let's have a look. The weather, it is bright and sunny, so leave your predictions, but without further ado, let's get to race 2 here at Donington. So, here we are then on the grid then. It's Alexander Rossi on the left. It is Willpower on the right who's going to get the lead into turn 1 as we wait for the 5 red lights to go off to signify the start of race 2 here at Donington. 1 light is on, 2 lights are on, 3 lights are on, 4 lights are on, 5 lights are on. And race 2 for GP3 is underway, and it seems to be a good start from Power, who seems to try and get alongside Alexander Rossi as he comes down towards turn 1. Ferrucci's had a good start as well. He's going to look to the inside. Can he do what Ferdinand Habsburg did yesterday? Danny inside, he goes on Rossi, and Rossi's been mugged by both Ferrucci and Power. Ferrucci takes the lead here at Donington Park. A fantastic start from the young American, who now heads down the hill towards the crane of curves now then. Rossi having to fend off from Kvyat and Aitken. Kvyat getting the jump on Aitken as they go down through crane of curves. Now then, as they go down towards the old hairpin now then for the first time today. And now, as you can see, Ferrucci in front, but Power all over the backside of him now then as they head up the hill towards McLean's now then. Ferrucci going very defensive on Willpower. Willpower flicking it to the inside into McLean's. Will he get the move done on Ferrucci? No, not quite. Ferrucci hanging it around the outside there then. Kvyat trying to get hold of Rossi there, but it ain't going to quite work out. Kvyat in a Willows Racing sandwich, of course. A note to remember as well. Going into this race, Daniil has a qualifying ban for Belgium, so expect that for him in 3 weeks' time for what he did yesterday. Santino Ferrucci now then, meantime, trying to fend off and Willpower. Power trying to get a run on him up towards the Fogarty S's now then. Willpower get the move done on the young American now then. Power trying to tuck into his slipstream now then. He'll look to the inside into the Fogarty S's. Will he get the move done? Power down the inside of Ferrucci. Is he going to grab the lead from the young American? Down the inside he goes and he takes it. Power into the lead of the race now then, as they now go down the straight now then towards the Melbourne hairpin. Sorry, but as now Ferrucci's under pressure from Kvyat now then, who's got up to third. Rossi's dropped back some more because Newgarden's now up to 4th place. I believe that is Kvyat up to 2nd at the Melbourne hairpin. Aitken Danny inside of his teammate Rossi. Rossi's going backwards all of a sudden, and Aitken up into 5th place as a result. And Rossi from pole position has now dropped down into 6th place, but Power now leads, and he's starting to pull a gap now from Santino Ferrucci. So at the end of lap 1 of 15 then here at Donington, it's Power who leads, Kvyat in 2nd, Ferrucci in 3rd, Newgarden 4th, Aitken 5th, and Rossi running out the top 6 at the moment. Remember, only the top 6 get points in this race, and well, that's that really. Now Power goes down through turn 1 now then, using quite a bit of curb on the outside as he heads down through the crane of curves, and so that's that really. Power now then heading down through the craners now then as he now tries to pull away from Daniil Kvyat. But having saying that, Kvyat's now starting to reel him in now then as Kvyat looks to try and grab the lead from Will Power. Ferrucci now under pressure from Newgarden, the man who lies 2nd in the Drivers' Championship as they head up the hill towards McLean's. And Ferrucci going defensive. Newgarden looking to see if he can get on the inside of his fellow compatriot. Danny inside into McLean's, and that is a beautiful pass, and Ferrucci's gone for a spin. Ferrucci is off, and McLean's there. Did they make contact? That is the question. Did the 2 American drivers make contact at McLean's as they go in towards the old hairpin now then? We'll ride on board with Ferrucci, who was fending off from Josef Newgarden now then. As you can see, defending the inside, and I think at this point, Newgarden going to the inside of him there then, and yet he just ran out of road there. It was just Ferrucci pretty much running out of talent, you'd have to say, and has pretty much now cost himself a chance of a podium. So Ferrucci will be dropping down to the back of the pack as a result, and well, that's his race effectively ruined now then, and he better not rejoin dangerously like Daniil did yesterday, which he doesn't. He's well aware of that. And now Vinio's gone for a spin at McLean's. What's happened to Vinio? He's clipped someone. It's Heidfeld who's clipped him there. Heidfeld has clipped the back of Eero Vinio. What on earth happened there between those two? There's Ferrucci waiting for a gap in the traffic. You have one now, as I'll be interested to see what on earth happened there then. And Heidfeld clumsily trying to go for a gap that wasn't there, and he just clips the back of Vinio. That's going to have to be investigated for sure. And well, that's that really now then, as Heidfeld just exits the McLean's there. So that incident there between Vinio and Heidfeld under investigation, as Vinio now having to rejoin at the back of the pack, same as Santino Ferrucci there then. And Vinio getting the car going, but it is Power who still leads the race at this stage. Newgarden up in 3rd place as they go through the Fogarty S's now. Then there's meantime now, look at Kvyat starting to close up now on Will Power for the lead as they go up towards the Melbourne hairpin now then for the 2nd time today. And 15 laps of action here for race 2. Kvyat looking at any opportunity to pounce upon to try and get his first victory in GP3. His teammate did it last weekend in race 2, and looks like Kvyat wants to join him if he can. So Pennzoil Grand Prix get 2 victories under the belt. Now coming down the straight now then, Kvyat trying to pile the pressure on Power as much as possible now then as they head down the straight. As a result of that spin from Santino Ferrucci, it has now put Robert Kubica into the points in the KR Racing car. He's now coming up behind the 2 Willows Racing cars of Rossi and Aitken as they just feed around turn 1 now then. Heading down the hill, Power still got a bit of a gap. I think he might be now starting to possibly respond to Kvyat's pace, but we will wait and see as they both come down through the old hairpin now, then using quite a bit of curb on the outside now then before going up towards McLean's. And Kvyat now then trying to see what he could do as he goes through the left and right-hander now then, and he looks like he's getting up close through McLean's now then as he uses quite a bit of curb on the outside before going up towards the double right-hander at Coppice. And Kvyat doing a good job at the moment, and look how much traction he had compared to Power coming out of that corner. He's getting closer, but I don't think he's close enough to make a pass into the Fogarty S's. Out goes Antoine Hubert. What's happened to Antoine Hubert? He's out of the race. The KR Racing car is out, and there he is. He's gone for a spin down at McLean's and has whacked it into the wall. Now, was there contact with another driver? That is the question. Hubert has gone for a spin up at McLean's. And, well, that's that for him, really. And that is him out of the race. And we're down to 21 runners as a result. Was there contact? Let's have a look. So he tried to have a look in the inside of one of the Kenny Racing cars. And it was just a rookie error there. Clumsy move from Hubert there. He was trying to find a way through on Jarno Trulli there, but it clearly didn't work out for the Frenchman, and he bends his race. His miserable weekend comes to an end. Antoine Hubert out of the race, and we're down to 21 runners as a result. That's the 3rd incident now down up at McLean's. Sorry, I should say not down up at McLean's. As now we look at Daniil Kvyat now then, who goes through into the chicane, so far finding himself in a Dacia Eldorado Junior sandwich at the moment, as he'll now come up towards the Melbourne hairpin now then. And so now going through the right-hander, the second to last corner before coming up towards the final corner. And Kvyat now then trying to see if he can grab the lead from Will Power at this stage. And so far not close enough to mount an attack on the Russian at this stage as they start lap 4:15 now then here at Donington for race 2. As Newgarden's now getting up, so we now have potentially a three-way scrap now for the lead of this race. Newgarden now setting the fastest lap of 1:25.009. And looking to see if he can grab the lead back. Aitken now starting to get away from his teammate as now Rossi's now left to fend off from Robert Kubica and even Ferdinand, Habsburg and Nazar. So in fact, it seems that Rossi may have a trainer cars to fend off on at the moment, especially championship leader Ferdinand Habsburg. But at the moment, at this stage, I could be wrong, but I think Newgarden and Ferdinand and Habsburg will be tied on points if it stays like this. But having saying that, remember now that Newgarden set the fastest lap, so Newgarden at the moment will lead the championship again by 1 point ahead of Habsburg. As now we go up through McLean's, and Kubica really trying to harry down Rossi as much as possible. Meantime, back to this battle for the lead of the race between the top three. Again, Kvyat not close enough to the back of Power at the moment to try and attack for the lead, but it looks like Newgarden's getting closer to Kvyat than Kvyat is to Power, and you can tell there, look, because Kvyat's going very defensive into there then, and you can tell how much momentum Newgarden had there as he was riding over the bumps before going into the Fogarty S's. Now then, he's clearly feeling confident in that car as he looks to try and grab second place from the Russian as they just negotiate through the Melbourne hairpin now then. And Newgarden fancying his chances on Daniil Kvyat now then as they head up towards the final corner on the track. And as you can see now, then Newgarden just breaking that a little bit later than what Kvyat is at this stage as they just come out of the final corner heading down the pit straight now then. And will Newgarden try and find a way through perhaps down into turn 1? He's not looking close enough to make a pass, but having saying that, Kvyat again going defensive into turn 1 there then as they just negotiate through turn 1. And now look how close Newgarden has got to the backside of Daniil Kvyat as they go down through the Craner curves. Maybe Newgarden will look for any opportunity to pounce down through the Craners as all of this is allowing Power to just pull away from the pair of them as a result, as they both now come up towards the old hairpin. Now then, Newgarden fancying his chances on second place as they go up the hill. Kvyat going very defensive. Newgarden now then looking to the inside. Will he get the move done on Daniil Kvyat? And no, not quite. And Kvyat's gone off. Kvyat has gone off there and has spun right in front of Newgarden, just like what Ferrucci did. Kvyat just ran out of road there. Nothing to do with Newgarden whatsoever. But clearly there's some rookie errors being done defensively down at McLean's, and that's the fourth person who's gone off at that corner. And now we find ourselves with a Dacia Dorado 1-2 with Power leading ahead of Newgarden now then, and Kvyat again having to find a gap in the traffic now then. Which he finally does, but now it puts himself down into 20th. It could be last if Vinio finds a way through, perhaps up into Coppice. And let's have a look then. So Vinio looking to the inside now then of Danny Kvyat. Will he get the move done up at Coppice? And Kvyat still sticking with him around the outside through into the corner. Vinio trying to keep his foot in there then, and he gets the place done. So Vinio up into 20th there as a result. It now leaves a Dacia Dorado 1-2, but as a result of Newgarden having to jam on the brakes just to ensure he didn't collect the side of Kvyat's car there, it's brought Jack Aitken now closer to him, and now Aitken fancies his chances at second place now then from Josef Newgarden as they come down the straight. But it looks like there Newgarden had a bit more squirt of the throttle coming out of the last corner, so that's that for him really now then. Aitken coming out of turn 1 before heading down through the Craners. Rossi now then still having to fend off from Kubica. Kubica still hasn't been able to find a way through on the American at this stage as they go through the Craners. And so now we go down towards the old hairpin now then on the track, and so using a tad bit of curb before going up the hill towards McLean's. And so that's that really as they go through McLean's now then for the 6th time today. 10 laps remaining in this race. Power now then finding himself in command of the race, but will Newgarden have the pace perhaps to try and close up on teammate Power? We will wait and see now then as they go up towards the Fogarty S's on the track. Aitken now starting to lose time to Josef Newgarden as a result as they all now come up towards the Fogarty S's on the track, flicking the car in through the left and right-hander, using quite a lot of curve on either side there before approaching the Melbourne hairpin. And so in towards the second to last corner we will go. And Aitken now then going through the corner now then. And now Kubica trying everything he can to get hold of Alexander Rossi again. He's still struggling to find a way through on him at this stage as they come up towards the final corner on the track. And so coming down the straight now then, as Newgarden now sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 23.864 now then. So that's that really as far as they're concerned. The gap between him and Power is 3.4 seconds. That's how it currently stands at this stage as they go down through the crane of curves. That's meantime now then, Rossi may have to go a little bit defensive from Kubica, because Kubica is now getting quite close now to the backside of him now then, as he's 0.4 seconds back from him at this stage. As now through the old hairpin we go. Kubica showing a lot more pace than what Rossi has in front as they go up the hill now then. Rossi going quite defensive, but Kubica not close enough to make an attack into McLean's there, so not really need for Rossi to make a defensive move, but Kubica could get a run on him up towards Koppis now then, so let's see if Kubica will be able to use that to his advantage. He gets into the slipstream, Rossi going defensive, and rightfully so, keeping hold of the place for the moment as they go through Koppis now then. And now heading down the back straight towards the Fogarty S's. Kubica now then in the slipstream of Alexander Rossi. He tucks up into his slipstream now then. He's going to look to the inside. Will Kubica get the move done on Alexander Rossi? No, Rossi shutting the door there on him completely. And Kubica having no way through on that as a result. And Rossi keeping his composure at him out at the moment and just pretty much getting his muscles out there to try and fend off from Kubica. Will Kubica try and have a run down into the Melbourne hairpin? No, Rossi again defensive through into there. And at the moment, Habsburg now finding himself into the points as he's now starting to close up on this battle. And he's even dragging Felipe Nasr along with him as well. But it looks like Nasr now maybe starting to lose time to the championship leader at the moment. As now Power heading down towards turn 1, lap 8 now, then a 15. Newgarden setting another fastest lap of 1 minute 23.809 then on the track. And let's see what the gap currently looks like between the pair of them. 3.1 seconds is the gap. Newgarden, I think, is taking 3 tenths there out of Power's lead. So from the last lap, of course. So a lot still to play for then in this race as Newgarden now then approaches the old hairpin on the track as he'll go up the hill towards the crane of curves. As there's Kubica and Rossi in the background there. You just saw they're still battling it out for P4 in this race. As now, look at Rossi now going very defensive. Will Kubica trying to lunge it down the inside into McLean's. He's going to have a look, but Rossi fends him off there, and Rossi keeps out of 4th place. Habsburg unable to take full advantage of the hold up there from Rossi, going up through McLean's. And now Kubica, can he try and find a way through this time around? Getting into the situation, Rossi goes very defensive into that corner, rightfully so, keeping hold of the place now then through Koppis. And Kubica, will he try and get the move done into the Fogarty S's now? Then down the straight we go then towards the quick left-right chicane. Kubica tucks up, he looks to the inside. Will Rossi go defensive again? No, he's going to lead this pace. Kubica's already there. Danny inside goes the Polish driver. Will he get the move done? Danny inside, and he can. Kubica up into 4th place, and now Habsburg finds himself all on the backside of Rossi. Will he try and get him into the Melbourne hairpin perhaps now then? Rossi going a tad bit defensive, might go fully defensive soon as I go into the Melbourne hairpin, which he does. Rossi keeps hold of 5th place, but Kubica now up into 4th place now then. There's meantime now then, we need to keep an eye on the gap between the 2 Dacia Eldorado Junior drivers, as Newgarden has been closing him up for the last couple of laps, as we have 7 laps remaining in race 2. Newgarden with another fastest lap at 1:23.558. Going through towards turn 1 now then. And let's see, 2.3 seconds now is a gap. That's a lot of time he's taken out there. 8 tenths Newgarden has taken out of his teammates' lead there. And we could have now a monumental scrap for the lead between the 2 Dacia Eldorados as they just go through the old hairpin. Up the hill they go towards McLean's. And Newgarden fancying his chances at trying to get Will Power in front now then, as he flicks the car in now then, using quite a bit of curb on the outside before approaching Koppis now then. Newgarden fancying his chances in this race as they just go out of the corner towards the back straight towards the Fogarty S's. And Newgarden doing a fine job in trying to catch up to Power at the moment. Meantime, here is the battle for 5th place. Habsburg now then all over the backside of Alexander Rossi. Will Habsburg get the move done on the American now then down into the Fogarty S? He doesn't look like he's close enough. Rossi defending the inside just in case. And yeah, I don't think Habsburg close enough there. Rossi keeping hold of the place into the chicane And NASA now starting to close up onto them as well, as he tries to get himself into the points playing positions. Habsburg now then. Rossi goes defensive into the Melbourne hairpin. Rightfully so. Keeps all of the place for now. And at this point now, the gap between the two teammates as they come out of the final corner. 6 laps remaining for Will Power. Lap 10 of 15. We're now on now then as they come down towards turn 1. The gap between the two of them now then heading into turn 1 is now, let's have a look, out of the corner. And the gap is going down towards Kranus, 1.9 seconds. So only that time around, Newgarden only took 4 tenths out of him that time around compared to previous times. As now up towards the old hairpin we go. And so now heading out of the old hairpin now then before going up towards McLean's. And now through the left and right hander we will go. As Newgarden only has 6 laps in which to try and get Power and pass him for the lead here. As they go through Coppice Corner now then. Power looking at a 3rd GP3 victory in his career. Newgarden looking to get his 3rd as well, I believe. So both of them chasing for a 3rd victory in GP3. As they go up towards the Fogarty S's now then. And the 2 Eldorados keeping each other company. As meantime, Habsburg is now starting to drop back now from Rossi. Rossi starting to pull a bit of a gap now to him as a result. And so that's that then really as they go through the S's. And so meantime, Power still leading, but look how close Newgarden is getting now to the back of him. The 2 teammates look to be going into combat for P1 here at Donington. And let's see the gap then between Power and Newgarden as they head down the pit straight. And the gap between Power and Newgarden with 5 laps remaining. We are 8 minutes away from the 1:30 mark. In towards turn 1 we go. And the gap between them, let's have a look, coming out of turn 1 is now going through the Craners, 1.5 seconds. So another 4 attempts. Newgarden took out of Power's lead there. Going through Craners, so 1.5 seconds is now the gap between the 2 Eldorados now then through towards the old hairpin we will go. And now going up the hill towards McLean's. And so that's that really. And so far, these 2 look to be entertaining us in this race at the moment. And yep, looks like now Habsburg's starting to drop back from Rossi. Rossi now starting to respond to Habsburg's pace a little earlier on. And now it looks like he looks to have fended it off unless Habsburg can find some more pace in his remaining 5 laps. Naza's still trying to keep up with this battle, but at the moment things are not going according to pot for him at this stage as they go through the chicane. Power still feels he has a chance of winning here, but his teammate really giving him a hard time behind. And I wonder if there is tensions at the Eldorado camp, and just praying that the pair of them don't do anything stupid if they've got a chance for a 1-2 in this race now then. As they come up towards the final corner now then. And in towards the final corner they go. And let's see now then what the gap is like between the 2 teammates. With 4 laps remaining now then. Power starts lap 12 of 15 here at Donington. As they now come down towards turn 1 on the track. And now through they go down. And out goes Jenson Button. Button out of the race. The gap is 1.3 seconds. What has happened to Jenson Button? Whereabouts is he on the track? As there's a little bit of argy-bargy down at the chicane there. Just a tad bit of contact. But where's Button? And there he is. He's got a puncher. It's a puncher for Jenson Button. It might have damaged the suspension. Jenson Button out of this race. And we're down to 20 runners as a result. Whether he'll be classed for completing 90% of the race distance, we'll wait and see. But Button is out and there's 20 runners remaining. 1.3 seconds is the gap between Power and Newgarden in this race now. Then let's head down through the Craners. Newgarden doing whatever he can to get hold of Will Power in this race, as he looks to try and get his 2nd victory of the season, be the first man to get 2 victories in Season 4 of GP3. As now up through McLean's we will go. Newgarden fancying his chances at Will Power at this stage, going up through the right-hander, and he's getting closer and closer now to his Australian teammate and in real life his Team Penske teammate as well in IndyCar. So these 2 know each other quite well, it must be said, as they go up towards the Fogarty S's now then. And Newgarden fancying his chances on Will Power's lead, as now up towards the chicane we will go, using the curves pretty heavily through into here now then. And so at the moment now then, things have calmed down a bit. But at the moment, Kubica is now starting to attack. He's starting to close up onto Jack Aitken for third place. So we could have also a battle for the final podium slot, along with the two Eldorados fighting it out for the win here for race 2. Kubica pushing hard now then as he goes through the Melbourne hairpin now then. And as you can see, as they come out of the final corner, let's see now then what the gap is currently like between Newgarden and Power. That's closer than 1.3 now, surely. 3 laps remaining in this race now then. Who is going to win between the two Eldorados? Will it be Power or will it be Newgarden? And it's 1.1 seconds between the pair of them as they have 3 laps remaining, as it's 6.6 between Aitken and Newgarden. These two are just well clear from the rest of the pack. Aitken probably going to be busy in his remaining 3 laps to fend off from Kubica, as Kubica is now 1.4 behind him in this race. So whether it's going to be a Willows Racing car on the podium or a KR Racing car on the podium that will join the two Eldorados at this stage, we'll wait and see. As now they go up through McLean's, and Newgarden now then looking to pounce upon his teammate as they go up towards the double right-hander at Coppice. This is getting quite tense now then between both Newgarden and Power as they come out of the second part of Coppice. Down the back straight towards the Fokker S's now then we will go. And Newgarden, of course, not close enough to make a pass on Will Power there. And from the last lap, only a 10th, I think it said there, was taken out of Power's lead there. I could be wrong. I probably wasn't paying attention too much, but that's that really. Is now to come up towards the Melbourne hairpin now then, as Newgarden only has 2 and a bit laps to get hold of his teammate and try and win this race as they go out of the Melbourne hairpin. And now up towards the final corner we go, and let's see what the gap is currently like then between the two Eldorados now then as they go through the final corner and onto the pit straight we will go. And the gap between Power and Newgarden, what's it going to be as they head down towards turn 1 on the track? We're on to the penultimate lap of this race now, in lap 14 and 15, and it's 1.2 seconds is the gap between them at this stage. So yeah, only a 10th for that time taken out. It looks like Power is responding quite well to Newgarden. In fact, he could actually, if he could just keep up this pace of him only taking a 10th out of him, Power, I think, should do enough to just scrape the victory from Newgarden in the end and become the 4th different winner this season, along with Habsburg, Button, and of course his teammate Newgarden. As now they go up the hill through McLean's. And Power now then, as you can see, Newgarden still not giving up, trying to see if he can get a better exit than what Power can in this race. Meantime, back to this battle for third. Kubica closing rapidly now onto the backside of Jack Aitken as he looks to get the final podium place off the British Korean now then as they go up towards the Coppice corner now then. Kubica doing whatever he can to get hold of Aitken in this race as they come out of the second part of Coppice before going up towards the Fokker TS's now then. Kubica doing a fine job in 4th place as they go through the left and the right-hander on the track, using quite a bit of curb on the outside before approaching the Melbourne hairpin. And so now in towards the right-hander we will go. And Kubica now then doing a good job at the moment. Meantime, Will Power coming out the final corner is about to start his final lap here at Donington. It's just been a perfect race for Will Power, and looking at it, it doesn't look like that Newgarden's going to get up close to put a pass on him there then. Power has done a fantastic job. He started in 2nd. He managed to get the jump on Rossi at the start, who started on pole, but he also had Ferrucci to contend with, but was able to get him at the Fokker TS's before the end of the first lap. And despite some pressure from teammate Newgarden, and maybe a tad bit of pressure from Kvyat as well before he spun at McLean's, nothing has stopped the Australian, and he's looking good to pick up his 3rd GP3 victory of his career, and the first of this season to become the 4th different winner. Eldorado becoming the first team to get 2 victories this season, it seems. And and it's looking to be the first 1-2 of the season coming from Dacia Eldorado. As meantime, it looks like Kubica, he's not close enough to the backside of Aitken, so I think Jack Aitken will just do enough to hold off the final podium place from the Polish driver now then. As here is the top 2 now then, heading up towards the Fokker S's for the final time now then, as he just clipped the curb through the left and right-hander now then. Power doing a good job and has kept the gap solid between himself and Josef Newgarden as they come up towards the second to last corner, which is of course the Melbourne hairpin. Through the right hander we will go, and now up towards the final corner now then. There you go. And it has just been a fabulous race for Will Power. Up towards the final corner then goes the Australian. And down the pitch straight we go. And it is going to be Will Power who wins race 2 here at Donington. Congratulations to him and the Dacia Dorado Junior team. A fantastic result for Power. A fully deserved one as well. Josef Newgarden finishes in second to make it a Dacia Dorado 1-2. Jack Aitken just holds off Kubica to finish in third. Kubica finishes fourth. Rossi crosses the line in fifth. Habsburg rounds out the points in sixth. And it looks like that Newgarden has retaken the lead in the Drivers' Championship. Nazar crosses the line in seventh. Jarno Trulli, for race 2, he's going to cross the line in 8th before handing the duties back to Buemi in Belgium. Trulli crosses the line in 8th. Davidson is going to cross the line in 9th in the Shadow Racing car. A brilliant result for him in the end. Michael Elation crosses the line in 10th. Heidfeld 11th. He's under investigation for a collision with Eero Vainio. Let's not forget. Lucas Di Grassi 12th. Kyle Kaiser 13th. Daniil at 14th. Marco Andretti 15th. Antonio Ferrucci 16th. Nico Kari 17th. Daniil Kvyat 18th. Santino Ferrucci 19th. And Eero Vainio, the last of the finishers, in 20th position. And there you have it then. In the end, Will Power is the winner here at race 2, and it is an Eldorado 1-2, a fully deserved one from both Will and Josef. Team boss Robert Ionescu should be proud of that one. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here was the results of race 2 here at Donington. Will Power won the race with Josef Newgarden in second. Jack Aitken finished in third with Robert Kubica fourth. Alexander Rossi finished in fifth with Ferdinand Habsburg in sixth. Felipe Nazar 7th. Jarno Trulli in 8th. Anthony Davidson 9th with Michael Elation in 10th. Nick Heidfeld 11th, of course, under investigation for that collision with Eero Vainio. Lucas Di Grassi 12th, Kyle Kaiser 13th, Daniil Aptin 14th, and if we scroll down the rest of the field, it's Marco Andretti 15th, Antonio Ferrucci in 16th, Nico Kari in 17th, Daniil Kvyat in 18th, Santino Ferrucci in 19th, Eero Vainio, the last of the finishers, in 20th, and the 2 retirements were Jenson Button and Antoine Hubert. They were the retirements of race 2 here at Donington. So let's see who set the fastest lap of the race, who's going away with the bonus point. And it was Josef Newgarden with a 1 minute 23.558. So along with the 5 points he gets for second place, he also gets the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race, bringing his total to 6. He was 2 tenths clear in the end from the Pennzoil Grand Prix car of Daniil Kvyat in the end there then. So there you have it then, guys. That has been it for race 2 for IFMC GP3 this weekend. They'll be back in 3 weeks' time. They'll not be going to the next 2 races in the USA and Mexico because neither of the feeder series classes are going to Mexico. So GP3 will be back in 3 weeks' time at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. But stick around now, guys, because coming up next is the sprint race for IFMC GP2, which sees Luca Ghiotto on pole, ahead of Sergei Sirotkin and Joel Eriksson. So if you want to go and grab a quick drink, you can. The podium for GP3 is coming your way just after this. But until then, I've been James with F1. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in just under half an hour's time. Enjoy the GP3 podium.